Silence isn't the absence of power, it's the presence of mastery. Have you ever noticed how some people laugh when you stop talking? They roll their eyes, smirk, and whisper to themselves, "See? I told you they'd go quiet." That tiny laugh. It's not joy, my friend. It's fear disguised as pride, because deep down they know your silence means something they can't control. Before we go any deeper, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay with me till the end, because what we're about to uncover might just flip the whole game upside down. Hey folks, imagine this. You're a lighthouse standing tall on a cliff. The waves crash, the wind howls, and the storms try to swallow you whole. Yet you say nothing. You don't move. You don't scream back at the thunder. You just shine. That's what silence really is. Light in the middle of chaos. But the funny part, the storm thinks it's winning because it's loud. That's what people do when they laugh at your silence. They think noise means victory. Let's be honest, my friends. You cared, didn't you? You gave your best. You stayed up at night thinking, overthinking, hoping they'd see your worth. You were all in, heart, soul, and effort. But when you finally stopped chasing, when you finally said nothing, they laughed. They took your peace as surrender. They called it weakness. But oh, what a mistake that was. Because silence, my friends, is not empty. It's loaded. It's the calm before an earthquake. It's the arrow being pulled back before it flies farther than ever. It's that moment before karma whispers, "Now it's my turn." People laugh when they're uncomfortable. They laugh when they don't understand something deeper than their ego can handle. They laugh in silence because they can't hear what it's saying. But as the old Stoic saying goes, the more powerful the voice, the quieter it speaks. You see, they expected you to beg. They wanted your reaction, your panic, your pain. They feed on chaos like moths to flame. But when you go quiet, they starve. They start replaying every word, every moment, every memory, trying to figure out what changed. That's when your silence starts doing the talking for you. Let's have a little fun with this. Imagine a magician on stage who just lost control of their tricks. They're smiling, pretending it's all part of the show, but inside they're panicking. That's them, folks. They're performing confidence while drowning in confusion. Because your silence isn't weakness. It's their mirror. It reflects everything they don't want to face. Guilt, regret, and the truth that they lost something real. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." And that's exactly what you're doing. You didn't match their games. You didn't return their drama. You simply stopped dancing to the noise. And that, my friend, is power in its purest form. So the next time they laugh at your silence, just smile. Because they think you're gone, but really, you're just beginning. You've stepped out of their circus and into your kingdom. They can't hear your peace because they're still trapped in their chaos. Remember this, the ocean doesn't argue with the storm. It just waits, knowing the storm will pass. That's you, steady, still, unmoved. Say it with me. My silence speaks power. Write it in the comments. Let the world see it. Let them see it. And if you haven't already, press that like button, subscribe, and stay with me, because we're just getting started. Number 1. They mistake stillness for defeat. Never mistake silence for surrender. The most dangerous storms begin with calm skies. They think you're quiet means they've won. They see you disappear, stop calling, stop chasing, and in their mind, they're already celebrating. They're out there smirking, telling themselves, "See, I told you, they couldn't handle it." They think you've given up, that you've finally accepted defeat. But what they don't realize, my friend, is that your stillness isn't death. It's preparation. It's the calm before the thunder. It's the still ocean, seconds before it rises into a wave that can drown anything that underestimated it. Imagine a volcano sitting silently under the earth. From the outside, it looks harmless, almost forgotten. Grass grows on its sides, animals walk over it, and people build houses nearby thinking it's safe. But deep inside, pressure is building, quietly, steadily, unshakably. That's you right now. They see the surface, but they have no idea what's forming underneath. They laugh because they don't understand silence. They think power always comes with noise, with shouting, proving, explaining. They've lived their lives believing that the one who talks louder wins. But silence terrifies them. It leaves them alone with their thoughts, their guilt, their emptiness. They don't know what to do when the drama stops. They don't know who they are without the chaos. And now they're asking themselves questions they'll never say out loud. Why aren't you reacting? Why aren't you angry? Why aren't you chasing? Because to them, your stillness doesn't make sense. They can't process strength that doesn't shout. They can't comprehend peace that doesn't need to prove itself. So they laugh, not because they're strong, but because they're scared. The philosopher Lao Tzu once said, "He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty." And that's exactly what's happening here. You're conquering yourself, your impulses, your pain, your urge to respond. You're doing something they never could, controlling your emotions. They control others. You control yourself. That's real power. Let's be honest, folks. They expected a show. They wanted the explosion, the late-night texts, the angry calls, the long emotional messages explaining how much they hurt you. That's what they feed on. They need to see your pain to feel important. They needed your reaction to confirm their worth. But you didn't give them that. You gave them silence. You left them with their reflection, and now that silence is louder than any words could ever be. They're sitting there thinking, they must be suffering. But here's the truth. They're the ones who can't sleep. They're the ones replaying every moment, wondering what's going through your mind. And that's where your power begins. Because silence isn't absence. It's presence without permission. It's energy they can't access anymore. You see, people mistake stillness for weakness because they've never experienced peace. They confuse reaction with relevance. They think if someone isn't fighting back, they've lost. But the Stoics taught something different. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your silence is proof that you've stopped trying to control what's beyond you. You've stopped explaining yourself to people who were never listening. You've stopped giving energy to situations that only existed to drain you. That's not weakness, that's evolution. But let's be real, my friend. It's not easy. The hardest part about silence is that it tests you. It makes you face the part of yourself that wants to scream. There will be nights when you'll want to break it, when your hands hover over your phone, when your mind replays every memory, every word, every smile. You'll wonder, what if they never care? What if they never come back? What if my silence doesn't matter? And that's where most people lose. They break the silence too soon. They run back to the same pain they escaped because the quiet felt too heavy. But let me tell you something powerful. The quiet is where you transform. It's where clarity is born. It's where your emotions settle and your spirit rebuilds. You're not losing them in the silence. You're finding yourself. So, when they mock your stillness, remember this. They only laugh at what they don't understand. They see your calm and mistake it for confusion. But you're not confused. You're composed. You're not defeated. You're disciplined. You're not giving up. You're growing up. They used to control your emotions like a puppet master, pulling strings and watching you dance. But when you cut those strings and sit still, they panic. Because silence is freedom they can't manipulate. It's a wall they can't climb, a mystery they can't solve, a truth they can't escape. And soon, that laughter they're hiding behind, it'll fade, because silence has an echo, and it always returns to the one who mocked it. They'll realize that your absence wasn't weakness. It was the moment they lost control. The great Stoic Seneca once said, "The best answer to anger is silence." Not because silence avoids conflict, but because it ends the cycle. It's the declaration that says, "I'm done explaining myself to people who never listened." So hold that silence, my friend. Let them think they've won. Let them misinterpret your stillness as surrender. Because the truth, you're not disappearing, you're leveling up. You're not done. You're just beginning a new chapter they'll never be part of. Say it with me. My stillness is not defeat, it's my discipline. Write it in the comments. Show yourself. Show them. Show the world that your silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom, because when they finally realize what that silence meant, it'll be too late. Stay with me, folks. What comes next will shake their illusion even more. Number 2, they needed you to react. People who cannot control you will always try to provoke you. They don't actually want peace, they want power. And power, for them, only exists when you react. That's the dirty truth most people never want to admit. Your emotions were their fuel, your words were their weapon, and your attention, oh, that was their oxygen. Without it, they suffocate. That's why they keep poking, mocking, laughing. It's not amusement, it's survival. They need your reaction to remind themselves they still matter. Imagine this, my friends. You're standing in front of a mirror and someone behind you keeps throwing stones. Each time you turn around to stop them, the mirror cracks a little more. That mirror is your peace. Every reaction gives them another chance to break it. And that's exactly how they operate. They throw emotional stones just to make you flinch, just to see if you'll look back. Because the moment you react, they win. You give them proof that they still have a hold on you. They want your anger. They want your confusion. They want you to chase them so they can run and pretend you're obsessed. That's their illusion of control. They've convinced themselves that silence is weakness because noise used to mean validation. They think if you're quiet, you're hurting. They think if you're not speaking, you're waiting. But what they don't realize is this: you're not waiting anymore, you're done. It's funny, folks, how they call you too emotional, yet they can't breathe unless they get a reaction out of you. They'll press every button they can find, ignore you, mock you, disappear, post subtle digs online, just to see if you'll break your silence. Why? Because deep down, they fear irrelevance. They fear losing the control they once had. They want to see that they still matter enough to disturb your peace. The philosopher Epictetus said, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." That means every time you react, you give them permission to control your state of mind. But when you stop reacting, when you go still, something powerful happens. You take that permission back. They lose access, they lose energy, they lose you. Let's be honest, my friend, it's not easy to stay silent when your heart is screaming for closure. It's not easy to hold your peace when your pride wants to roar. They might even accuse you of being cold or heartless because you're not reacting the way you used to. They'll say you've changed, and they're right. You've changed from someone who explains to someone who understands, from someone who pleads to someone who observes. You're no longer part of their performance. You're the audience that walked out. Here's the thing they'll never tell you. Your silence exposes them. It reveals how dependent they were on your reactions. They start to realize that without your emotions, they have no purpose in your story. And that terrifies them, because once your silence becomes permanent, they have to face themselves. And that's something they've avoided their whole lives. It's almost funny when you think about it. The same people who once said, "You talk too much," are now wondering why you're so quiet. The same ones who told you you're too sensitive are now trying to provoke those same emotions they used to mock. It's ironic. They mocked the fire, and now they miss the warmth. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That's the secret they never want you to discover. Because when you realize that your peace doesn't depend on anyone's apology, approval, or attention, you become untouchable. They can gossip, they can post, they can pretend, but they can't reach you anymore. Yes, my friends, it will hurt at first. There's a certain ache that comes from silence, the kind that makes you want to explain, defend, or prove your worth. But hold it. Let that ache become your strength. Every time you resist the urge to react, you train your mind to rise above manipulation. Every moment you choose silence over chaos, you're reminding yourself, "I don't owe my peace to anyone's noise." They needed your reaction because that was the last thread tying you to them. And when you stopped reacting, that thread snapped. You took your energy back, and now they're the ones left wondering, what happened? That's the beauty of self-control. It's invisible, but its impact shakes everything. So, the next time they try to trigger you, just smile. Let them throw their words into the wind. Don't give them your energy. They haven't earned it. You owe them nothing. You owe yourself everything. Say it with me. I choose peace over provocation. Write it in the comments, my friends. Show them, show yourself, show the world around you that you've grown past the need to react. Because silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And as we move forward, you'll see just how deeply your silence begins to unravel everything they tried to control. Stay with me. It's about to get even more powerful. Number 3, the real psychology behind their laughter. When people laugh at you, they're not always amused. Sometimes they're just terrified of the truth you represent. They laugh because it's easier than admitting they've lost control. That smirk, that little grin when they see you quiet, it's not confidence, my friend. It's camouflage. It's how they hide the fear that's starting to crawl up their spine. They laugh because your silence unsettles them. They laugh because pretending they don't care is easier than facing what they've done. That laugh, it's the sound of denial wearing a mask. Imagine a clown juggling glass balls under bright lights. Everyone's watching, clapping, thinking they're in control of the show. But deep down, the clown knows that one wrong move and everything will shatter. That's them. They're performing confidence, juggling lies, pretending they're fine, but inside, they're trembling. Your silence, your stillness, is that one quiet breath before the glass hits the floor. Let's be honest, folks. When they laugh at you, they're really trying to convince themselves of something. See? I don't care. It doesn't bother me. They mean nothing. But if that were true, why are they talking about you at all? Why are they watching your stories, checking who you're with, trying to decode your silence? Because laughter is their defense mechanism. It's how they try to drown out the voice in their head that whispers, "You lost something real." They can't process your peace, so they mock it. They can't handle your control, so they belittle it. They'll tell their friends you're obsessed, that you're weak, that you couldn't handle them. But behind every insult is a confession. They're still paying attention. You're still living rent-free in a mind that swore you were irrelevant. That's the irony. The more they laugh, the louder the truth echoes inside them. The great Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears." He meant that some people laugh not because they're strong, but because they don't know how else to face reality. Their laughter isn't joy, it's fear wearing a smile. It's the mask they use to cover the emptiness that silence exposes. You see, your silence does something terrifying. It mirrors their inner world. When you stop talking, they're forced to hear their own noise. When you stop explaining, they're left alone with their guilt. And when you stop chasing, they have to face the truth that they weren't as important as they thought. That's why they laugh. Because silence exposes everything words use to hide. But I get it. It hurts. When you see someone you once cared for mocking your calm, laughing at your growth, pretending you never mattered, it stings. You want to defend yourself, to shout, to prove your worth. But don't. Their laughter isn't about you. It's about them trying to avoid their reflection. They laugh at what they can't understand. They laugh at what they secretly envy. It's funny, isn't it, folks? They once called you too emotional, but now they're the ones emotionally invested in your reaction. They once said you talk too much, but now your silence keeps them up at night. They can't decide what they want, your attention or your absence, but they're addicted to both. They crave the very thing they pretend to despise, your energy. Psychologists call this projection. They project their discomfort onto you so they don't have to face it themselves. When they say, "You're acting strange," what they really mean is, "I don't know how to handle this new version of you." When they laugh and say, "You've changed," what they really mean is, "I miss the version of you that tolerated my nonsense." And here's the truth they'll never say out loud. Your silence is making them question everything. They wonder if you've moved on, if you're happier, if you ever think about them. They tell themselves they don't care, but they do. They laugh because it's the only way to hide the fact that your absence is haunting them. The great philosopher Nietzsche once said, "Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed." And that's exactly what your silence is doing. It's destroying the illusion of control they once had over you. They thought they owned your emotions. Now they realize they never did. So let them laugh, my friends. Let them pretend, because deep down, that laughter is cracking. It's hollow. It's forced. And the day will come when that laughter turns into silence. And oh, that silence will be deafening. That's when they'll realize the truth. Your stillness was never weakness. It was wisdom. You've got to understand, people who mock peace have never tasted it. They laugh at stillness because they've only known chaos. They laugh at calm because they mistake it for emptiness. But you, my friend, you've learned the beauty of being unmoved. You've learned that the loudest sound in the world is peace. So say it with me. Their laughter means nothing. My peace means everything. Write it in the comments, folks. Let them see it. Let yourself feel it. Because soon, the very thing they mocked will be the thing they miss most. Stay with me, because what's coming next will show you how their laughter starts to crumble under the weight of your silence. Number 4. What happens when you refuse to play their game? When you stop playing their game, they stop feeling powerful. And when they stop feeling powerful, they start to fall apart. At first, they don't notice your silence. They think it's temporary. They tell themselves, give it a few days, they'll text. They wait for the message, the reaction, the proof that you still care. They check their phone, scroll through old conversations, maybe even post something they know will get your attention. But when nothing happens, when you stay calm, still and unreachable, they start to panic. That's when the real game begins. You see, folks, people like this don't actually want peace. They want control. They need to know they can pull your emotions like puppet strings, anger, guilt, jealousy, confusion. It's not about love, it's about power. They've spent so long feeding off your reactions that your silence feels like starvation. You've stopped playing, and now they don't know who they are without the game. Imagine a chess player sitting alone at the board. The opponent has walked away. The clock is still ticking, but there are no more moves left to make. That's them. They stare at the board, waiting for your next move, but nothing comes, and the silence starts eating at them, slowly, relentlessly. They thought they were the king. Now they realize they were just another piece on your board. They might try to provoke you again, maybe a sudden text, "Hey, just checking in," or a sarcastic post online meant for your eyes only. Maybe they'll act like they're happy, like they've moved on, hoping to get a rise out of you. But you, my friend, you've learned the truth. Responding means stepping back into their illusion. You can't win a game designed to keep you losing. When you refuse to play, their tactics lose power. They'll start switching roles, first the arrogant one, then the victim. One day they'll blame you, the next they'll miss you. They'll project their confusion onto you, saying, "You changed." But the truth is, you just stopped participating in the circus they called connection. You left the show. You walked off the stage. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." That's the essence of refusing to play. You no longer let their behavior define you. You stop internalizing their games as proof of your worth. Their actions no longer disturb your peace because you understand they're not reflections of you, they're reflections of them. Here's what happens next. Your silence starts to expose their character. Without your reactions to hide behind, they begin to unravel. People around them start noticing the cracks. The charm fades, the manipulation slips, the mask they've worn for so long starts to fall apart, piece by piece. Because you're no longer there to balance their chaos. You were their stability, their mirror, their emotional anchor, and when you walked away, they were left face to face with themselves, and they don't like what they see. But let's be real, it's not easy for you either. It takes discipline to stay silent when every part of you wants closure. It takes strength to not respond when they bait you. There's a battle happening inside you, the urge to prove yourself versus the need to protect your peace. But remember this, silence isn't losing, it's choosing. Choosing your growth over their games, choosing dignity over drama, choosing peace over power struggles. Think of a lion, calm and still in the tall grass. It doesn't chase every movement it sees. It watches, it waits, it moves only with purpose. That's you now. You're no longer reacting to every noise. You're conserving your energy for things that truly matter. They expect chaos, but you've become a strategy. They expect emotion, but you've become composure. The great Stoic teacher Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." You can't control how they act, how they twist the story, or how they pretend they've moved on. But you can control your silence, your boundaries, your peace. And that's what scares them most. They can't touch what they can't reach. So let them play their games alone. Let them talk. Let them laugh. Let them pretend they don't care. Because soon, the silence they mocked will become the silence that consumes them. They'll realize that while they were busy playing games, you were busy healing. While they were trying to win, you were walking towards something they'll never find: freedom. Say it with me. I don't play their game. I own my peace. Write it in the comments, folks. Show them. Show yourself, show the world around you that your silence isn't submission, it's evolution. Because once you stop playing, they stop winning. And trust me, what happens next will change everything. Stay with me. The shift they never expected is about to begin. Number 5, the shift they never anticipated. The day you stop chasing them is the day the power silently shifts. At first they feel confident. They walk around with that smug little grin, convinced they've got you figured out. They think you'll come running back any moment now, because that's what you used to do, right? You'd always explain, always forgive, always make peace. They think they've cracked your code. They think silence is just another part of your cycle. But this time, it's different. This time, the silence isn't a pause, it's a pivot. And that's the moment everything begins to shift. You see, folks, manipulators live on predictability. They rely on patterns. They get comfortable knowing exactly what buttons to press to get a reaction. It gives them a sense of control, a feeling of superiority. But when the pattern breaks, when you stop responding the way you used to, they lose their map. Suddenly, they're walking through fog with no compass. That's when fear starts creeping in. Imagine a magician performing the same trick over and over. The audience gasps, claps, cheers. The magician feels powerful until one day the crowd goes silent. No reaction, no applause, nothing. The trick no longer works. That's what's happening now. You've stopped reacting, and their tricks have lost their magic. The silence has flipped the stage, and now they're the ones standing in the spotlight, exposed and unsure. At first, they'll tell themselves it's fine. They'll pretend they don't care. They'll post pictures, fake happiness, laugh a little louder. But behind closed doors, their mind is racing. Why aren't you reacting? Did they really move on? Are they seeing someone else? Did they stop caring? They'll replay every moment, every word, every memory, trying to find clues to explain why the game suddenly stopped working. That's the power of silence. It turns the tables without a single word. You're not chasing anymore, and they can't handle it. They were ready for your anger, your begging, your confusion. They weren't ready for peace, because peace is unpredictable. Peace means you're no longer emotionally available for their drama. Peace means the puppet cut the strings, and the puppeteer is now standing there, empty-handed. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And that's exactly what's happening. You're mastering yourself. You've stopped letting their behavior dictate your emotions. You've stopped giving your energy to a cycle that only drained you. You're no longer reacting to what they do. You're responding to what you deserve. That's the shift they never saw coming. Let's be real, my friends. This shift doesn't happen overnight. There's a storm inside you first. You'll doubt yourself. You'll feel the urge to check their page, to send that one message, to break the silence just to see if they still care. But don't. That's what they want, to pull you back into the noise. Instead, you sit with the silence. You breathe through it. You let it shape you. Because while they're spiraling, you're stabilizing. And something powerful happens during that stillness. You begin to see clearly. You realize that their validation was never worth your peace. You realize that the person who needed to hear you the most was you. You were waiting for them to see your worth, but now you're seeing it for yourself. You're no longer the character in their story. You're the author of your own. They'll start to notice the change. They'll sense it. Maybe not right away, but they'll feel the energy shift. They'll feel the emptiness where your reactions used to be. They'll try to fill it with distractions, with new people, with false pride, but it won't work, because energy doesn't lie. When you pull back your focus, your attention, your love, they feel the void. They won't admit it, but they'll feel it. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And your thoughts now, they're stronger, sharper, calmer. You're no longer wasting them on, "Why did they do this to me?" You're thinking, "What can I build next?" That's the shift, from victim to victor, from pain to purpose, from reaction to reflection. And soon, they'll realize something heartbreaking. The silence they thought meant they'd won was actually the moment they lost. Because while they were celebrating your absence, you were transforming in it. While they were laughing at your quiet, you were growing roots. You're no longer standing where they left you. You've moved beyond their reach. Let them wonder. Let them replay. Let them search for the old version of you. They won't find them. That version died in the noise. What's left is someone unbothered, untouchable, unshakable. Say it with me. The shift has already happened. I'm no longer who they knew. Write it in the comments, my friends. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world that silence isn't the end. It's the transformation they never saw coming. Stay with me, because what's coming next is where your power becomes undeniable. Number 7. When their laughter turns into regret. The day will come when the laughter that mocked you becomes the echo that haunts them. At first, they laughed. They laughed at your silence, at your peace, at your calmness. They mistook your distance for defeat and your composure for weakness. They told themselves you'd come running back, that you'd break first, that your silence would crumble under its own weight. But the longer you stayed still, the quieter their laughter became. What once sounded confident now trembles like a nervous whisper, because sooner or later, every joke turns into reality, and reality always favors the one who healed, not the one who hid behind mockery. You see, folks, regret doesn't arrive with thunder. It comes like a slow storm. It starts small, a memory here, a thought there, a familiar song that hits too hard, a random moment that reminds them of what they destroyed. They'll try to brush it off, to laugh again, to drown it in distractions. But regret is a persistent visitor. It knocks on their heart long after they've locked the door. Imagine a theater after the show ends. The lights go out, the applause fades, the stage goes dark. That's what their life becomes after the laughter fades. They thought they were performing strength, pretending to be unaffected, convincing everyone they'd moved on. But when the crowd leaves and the mask comes off, all that's left is silence. And this time, it's not yours. It's theirs. They'll scroll through their phone late at night, hover over your name, and stop. Their pride will whisper, "Don't message." Their heart will whisper, "You lost them." They'll replay the moments when you cared, when you tried, when you were still reachable. They'll remember the look in your eyes when you finally stopped explaining, and it will hit them. That wasn't weakness. That was goodbye. That's how regret works. It doesn't punish them with noise. It punishes them with emptiness. It makes them remember what peace used to feel like when you were around. It makes them crave the very calm they once mocked. They'll start wondering how you managed to stay silent for so long, how you kept your composure while they fell apart pretending not to. And that's when it dawns on them. Your silence wasn't a reaction, it was evolution. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And you reacted by not reacting. That's what they'll never understand. You didn't chase revenge, you didn't post your pain, you didn't try to prove your worth, you became proof of it. While they stayed stuck in their pattern, you outgrew the entire game. You transformed quietly, and now your silence speaks louder than their pride ever could. Let's be honest, my friends. Regret isn't instant, it builds. At first they won't admit it. They'll pretend they're fine, talk louder, laugh harder, act happier, but deep down they'll feel the shift. They'll see you glowing, focused, living, unbothered. They'll realize that the person they thought would fall apart without them became someone they could never reach again. And that's when the laughter turns into silence, their silence, because now you're not the one waiting for them. They're the ones waiting for you, and you're never coming back. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." You didn't seek revenge. You chose peace. You didn't lower yourself. You rose above. You didn't curse their name. You blessed your new beginning. That's what makes them regret it most, because they didn't just lose someone, they lost access to your energy, your kindness, your patience, your presence. They'll realize they can find many people to talk to, but no one who listens like you did. They can replace attention, but not connection. They can fake happiness, but not peace. And when they finally understand that silence was never your weakness, it was your weapon, it'll break them in ways you'll never see. Because you'll be too busy living, building, and thriving. You'll be too far gone to hear their laughter turn into sighs. Remember, folks, time has a funny way of revealing truth. It humbles the arrogant and elevates the patient. The one who laughed today will bow to their own lessons tomorrow. That's not karma, it's correction. The silence they mocked will one day speak back to them through the emptiness they created. So keep moving, keep shining, keep being unbothered. Let their laughter echo into nothing while your peace turns into presence. Because soon they'll realize the truth. You were never the one who lost. You were the lesson they'll never forget. Say it with me. Their laughter fades, my peace remains. Write it in the comments. Show yourself, show them, show the world around you that your silence was never weakness. It was wisdom. And if this message spoke to your soul today, hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more. Because this journey isn't just about surviving heartbreak. It's about mastering your mind, reclaiming your peace, and living like the Stoic you were always meant to be. Stay grounded, my friends. Your silence is speaking louder than ever.